extension of the public hearing and site plan and special permit for Blueberry Hills Estates. At 6:36, we have a request for a waiver of site plan from 484 Main Street, 3 Arnold Road, Rapscallion. After that, at 6:45, we have a request for a waiver of site plan for 220 Holland Road, the Hemlock Ridge Golf Course. Following that, we'll have the town planner update, then old and new business, then adjournment. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes of August 23rd? Mm-hmm. Any questions, comments, changes? If not, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Dane?
Second.
Second, Sue. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
One abstention.
One abstention. Very good. Thank you. So it's not quite 6:35, so if you'd like to start with the town planner update.
Well, that'll take 2 seconds. Your next meeting is, let me find it, September 27th, and then October 11th and 25th. And then for planning purposes, we had already sent out the date, but changing the November meeting to November 15th, so to avoid Election Day and also Thanksgiving week, and then December 13th.
Very good.
Won't be able to avoid my Disney vacation on November 15th, so.
November 15th? I don't know, Jeff.
Important things are going to come up. You'll have to zoom in.
Just see Mickey in the background.
So we could still do Blueberry Hill, but if any one of you has a sniffle, we're in trouble, so need at least 5. And where we have a vacancy, Chris could still be on the board at that time, but if he's not and we have a new member, the new member cannot participate.
You won't have been able to go through the hearing.
So,
I mean, if I have to, I'll zoom in.
well, let's hope you don't
I
have
know
to
you-
do that,
I'm
but
not, I'm not at this point. I mean, if you really need,
if we really need you, we'll let
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But just everyone bear that in mind. I know some of you travel for work. I'm looking at you, Michael.
We're in a travel freeze right now, so I
Oh, you are?
should be pretty good, yeah.
Okay, good. Listen to me, okay, good. All right, well, we'll hope for the best on that. And not a lot new to report. As you know, the office was unfortunately closed for a couple of weeks while I was on vacation. We dealt with another issue in the office, and so we're catching up. And doing some training for the fire department on the online GIS so that they can keep up the hydrant inventory that the previous fire inspector started. Working with the rec committee on doing the, what do they call that, light up spooky, the Halloween decorating contest.
Wow.
So they're doing an app just like the Christmas decorating contest this year. So, yeah, decorate your house, sign up. Businesses, I think businesses as well. So
Well, that should be very good. Did many people sign up for that conflict of interest training on Tuesday?
no, if we don't get 4 more people, then we're canceling because
Oh.
we had a minimum of 30.
Oh.
And I think we needed 4 more people to sign up. So is there anyone here that didn't sign up, that wanted to sign up for next week, the conflict of interest?
That's next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, I could join for that.
Okay.
Now you only need 3 more.
So Sue?
Sign up for it next Tuesday at 3.
Yeah.
I think I signed up for it for Zoom.
You're on Zoom already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff, you'll still be at work?
let me take a look. What is it? What's the date? Tuesday, the
The
20th?
20th from 3 to 5 at Town Hall.
Anniversary, oh boy.
You're just full of problems tonight. And we'll be having a Zoom at a later date too. I know Michael signed up for a later date in October.
I'm sorry, can I Zoom on Tuesday from
Yeah,
3 to
you
5?
can.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Can I?
Yes. Yep.
I'll do Zoom next Tuesday.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want you to have to cancel.
All right. So we'll let the town clerk know. All right. Actually, I'm going to text her right now because
Okay,
she had to
good.
call them and let them know.
That sounds good.
This is something new.
Hmm?
We didn't do this before. Formal training.
Is there going to be a follow-up
This is like.
email?
There will
I think
be.
Okay.
It's a.
Should be a follow-up email, and
You're coming out to do
there
it for
should
us.
be another session in October.
I mean, that's
Some people need it.
The
different
stuff that we
boards.
take online covers a lot of things, including
Yeah.
conflict, but this thing here is strictly on that. Yeah. Okay, once Jean gets done with that, we'll be ready to start the continuation.
Okay, I'm good.
Great, okay. So at 6:35, we'll continue the public hearing on the site plan and special permit for Blueberry Hills Estate. I don't think we have to read it because we're just
Right.
opening it up. And the applicant is proposing a construction of a 55-plus manufactured housing community. And he has a request here to continue it, Jean?
Yes, so I spoke with Justin last week, and he had another meeting with the Conservation Commission, which went pretty well, but they still have some questions surrounding the stormwater infrastructure. You'll remember that it was a proposal to use rain gardens, kind of based on Conservation's recommendations at the outset, but now they have some questions about long-term viability of that plan, and then also connectivity with the vernal pools and habitat connectivity. So we think a reasonable date to continue the hearing would be November 15th at 6:35 PM.
Very good. Could I have a motion to do that?
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, nobody? Very good.
Okay.
Okay. So the next item is a request for a waiver of site plan approval at 484 Main Street. The applicant is requesting a waiver of site plan to open the lounge and the downstairs location of the current location, serve on an outdoor patio, and update the parking. Jean, do you want to?
Yes. So we have with us this evening Cedric and Heidi from Rapscallion. I think you've all met them previously. And you'll recall that Homefield Brewing actually operated their brewery downstairs on the first floor, and Cedric ran the Rapscallion tap room on the upstairs. Since that time, Homefield Brewing has vacated the premises, and Cedric was able to secure a lease for the entirety of the building. In addition to that, I think maybe around the start of COVID, had started building an outdoor patio. However, had never had a change of premise done for his serving license to be able to serve beer out on the patio area there. So there's a plan before you this evening that would allow basically Rapscallion to operate within the entirety of the building. So really the main change you're looking at this evening is the addition of the patio seating, which would add 24 seats on the outside. Prior to this, Homefield had a seating capacity of 49 downstairs, and Rapscallion had 49 upstairs. Both had 3 employees on maximum shift. And so now with the operation of the entirety of the building, because we don't need to do the fraction of parking spaces, they could actually have a 100 and still need the same parking spaces that they had before. When they have seating on the outdoor patio, they will reduce the seating in the downstairs, and I think Heidi will explain the operation a little more to you. But basically, they're not utilizing the downstairs except for in the kind of worse weather out, when it's nice out, people want to sit outside, or maybe they might have a few patrons that just want a quieter area to sit, or maybe for a small gathering and they could use the downstairs. So the application went out to staff. The main concerns that were noted were, how are the uses going to be separated, the patrons from the parking lot. You'll notice that they are proposing to install bollards, gates, and fencing around the entirety of the outdoor seating area. And all of those comments are within the report that I provided. At this point, I would recommend that the board waive site plan approval, as I don't believe this is a significant concern compared to what was already operating on premises previously. And as noted, Heidi and Cedric are both here to answer any questions you may have.
Very good, thank you. Would you like to make any comments or presentation before that, or?
I can explain a little more detail if you want. If there's a question with that downstairs space with the patio. We have 2 full bars, upstairs and downstairs. The downstairs is also our kitchen, so we mainly use the downstairs for our kitchen area. When we have the warm weather, people want to sit on the patio, we don't even staff the downstairs at all. It's just strictly for kitchen. We have one employee that works the kitchen at a time. It's just a small kitchen. As far as the private events, we only open that downstairs to private events when it's a very slow night, say Monday or Tuesday in the summer, because we don't want to interfere with the kitchen going on when we have the upstairs full. So there's never a time that we have more than 100 occupancy ever in that building, just simply because of the way we operate. We don't even open the downstairs. We don't have a need to, except for in the wintertime. And then, obviously, the patio's closed in the winter.
Great. Very good. Dane, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I just got a few. I see that you have that striped area there. How many accessible parking spaces do you guys have? Do you know?
I just talked to Matt, the landlord, today, and he said 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah. He needs to, so there's, part of that is he knows that he needs to paint that, and that's on the docket. He's planning to do that in the next month.
Okay.
So, yeah, but he just said that, I forgot to mention that to you
What
today.
is this?
The number of accessible parking spaces, 3, handicap.
Right.
Yep.
So it sounds like that's a landlord item. You might
Yeah.
want to remind him that he might need to look into his obligations for signage as well as painting.
Yep.
And he'll be familiar with what he needs to
Yeah, I
provide
actually
for
just
that.
talked to him about that today. I said, you need to make sure you get those handicaps. He goes, oh, yeah, I know, I gotta get 3, I gotta get on that. So he knows I will talk with him again and make sure that he ensures that he's, you know, to
Awesome.
code.
And what about lighting out there? Are there site lights or is it dark at night?
We have lights on the
Yep.
outside of the building.
And they're on the outside, so there's no like pole mounted lights for those little areas under the
We
trees
have
all the way at the end?
pole mounted in the front on the Arnold Road side, and then on the north side, where our main parking lot is, we have 2 big ridiculous spotlights. Not spotlights, but like parking
that
lot.
project off of
Yeah.
the building towards the
They're
field.
very
yeah.
bright, yeah.
Right.
And then where the parking spaces go over the property line to the Hog Heaven property, is that, like, do you guys have an agreement with that, or is that like a landlord issue,
Our
or?
landlord talked to the building owner, and we weren't part of that conversation, but supposedly he allowed Matt to
Okay.
have overflow parking. So it's just loose stone or pebbles, whatever you call it. It's a
Matt mentioned, when I talked to Matt about it, he said, we've been using it for 8 years. It's been an agreement we've had for 8 years. We've never had any issue with it.
Okay.
So that's, yeah.
And do you guys have a trash enclosure on site here?
We do. It's actually in that, it just got moved without us knowing. LaBeouf, it used to be on the north side, like on the cemetery line. You can't really tell, but there's a gate. Well, there is a gate there, right? The cemetery gate is, I need to point it there. So there's the gate.
Yep.
And then this land here is kind of open, and we used to have 2 dumpsters here. And then LaBeouf just moved them here, I think, as ease to come and go. I'm guessing they didn't even tell us they did it, but
I could imagine from their point of view, that's a straighter shot.
yeah,
And then if there are any vehicles parked there, they wouldn't be blocked.
right. So there's a enclosed dumpster, I forget the yardage, the typical one you see at a restaurant. And then we have a smaller mixed-use recycling dumpster to the left of it.
Okay. Do you guys know how the snow plowing operations work? I would have presumed they would have just pushed it to where you just said they put the trash
Correct.
to. So now I'm
Yeah.
wondering in the winter how that's going to work.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move the dumpsters.
Back.
Yeah, the landlord manages all the plowing. Well, he contracts it out to Abe's Lawn Care, and they've been doing it for years. But I do recall it's pushed in that area.
Okay. Let me see if I jotted down a couple of notes here. It was mentioned that where those head-in parking spaces are right next to those couple of 2-top tables, you were going to do like bollards and a fence or something.
Yeah, like the right in here.
Yeah, just right a little bit to the right there.
in the
Right
middle.
there you
Yeah,
go.
right
Yep.
in the center,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know that there was a back and forth with, I think it was the building inspector about the detail and how that was going to work.
Yeah.
I didn't follow the detail of that specifically. I didn't see a picture of that, and I personally don't really care about the specifics of it. I would just mention that it would be a great idea if there was 1 bollard per parking space, and that the bollards didn't accidentally get spaced out such that a car could just make its way right through.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a continuation of the whole.
Totally. But it sounded like there were going to be like really strong bollards interspersed with like fencing sections. I don't know what that spacing would be, but
You're saying specifically for those spaces that are close to those 2 tops there? Yep, absolutely.
awesome.
That makes sense.
Gene, I raised a couple of questions about activities crossing property lines, and I don't know if you have any comments about trash enclosures or...
So, yeah, so the dumpster was existing in the rear. It wasn't enclosed. I had spoken to the landlord previously about enclosing the dumpster, and I know he's been doing a lot of site improvements. I think we have to come up with a final location, and then once they figure out where that's going to be, then it will need to be enclosed. And then I think we really need to talk about that snow storage. I wasn't aware that the dumpster got moved, as it sounds like you
Right.
weren't aware either. So I think we need to have a conversation about that and figure out what's going to happen for the winter, and where the final location will be.
Yeah, I think certainly, the snow storage will be a bigger issue than the dumpster, for the
Right.
winter, so I think
One
that's-
thing, there's an additional parking space off to the top right that's a little bit over the right-of-way. I'm not gonna split hairs about if it's 25 or 24 that's on the property, but would it make sense to amend the site plan waiver and reduce the number of parking spaces on site for maybe a deduction of 2 more, say, so that we could provide access to a trash enclosure if necessary? I think that there was already a strong argument in your letter, which I thought was great, Gene, for non-coincidental use at peak hours. And I think that argument could extend the math for maybe 2 more if we're already at a reduction of 56 required and 40 whatever proposed. If the math changes to 2 more, then we could provide access to a trash enclosure if it's back over on the north side where it ends up. That's just one suggestion if you don't want to go down that route.
I'd rather look at other alternatives, because I do know when it's busy,
It's busy.
it's busy.
We can talk to there's a trash receptacle there, I think that might be it on the satellite, that the other 7 or 6 tenants use. We do not use that one, right? We have our own, because we use it more. This is rarely used by a salon and a tattoo artist and whatever else is here. A
Medical
florist.
Supply and the florist.
So we can talk to Matt about just having one here that's enclosed. This one currently is not enclosed. This is Casella that operates this one. We can talk to the Matt and the tenants and get it emptied once a week and close it, and then that's it. Just one for the whole property.
Yeah,
We can approach that to them.
I
Now,
think
the
that would
current
be
site
better.
plan approval, Gene, has the dumpsters where they were before.
In the
Yeah,
back,
so
right.
really,
Yeah.
His current site plan
There's no real
does.
approval to move those without a review.
Right. But I can work with Heidi and Cedric and Matt to figure out a location
Absolutely.
and make sure that they're enclosed, and make
We-
sure we have
yeah.
a snow storage area.
I mean, our kitchen and our, it's better to have in the middle there. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
I'm the one typically removing the trash late at night because I don't let our staff do it because it's late at night. It's far from the bar, and so I would like that trip to be shorter myself.
Yeah, I think that would be a good alternative.
And just one other follow-up, on the outside dining spaces, you are planning on serving alcohol there?
Correct.
So in other words, you'll need approval, obviously, from the Board of Selectmen and then finally the ABCC for that location. So the fencing, in that case, will be more in their prerogative than it is with ours. I mean, we're concerned certainly about the bollards and protection from the traffic. But as far as the fencing, as far as control of the service of alcohol, that'll be something you'll have to go through with the Select Board and the ABCC.
Right.
Those were all my questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Wally?
I'm all set, thank you.
All
Sue?
set, thank you.
Yeah, the only question I had was the 8 spaces in which presumably there's an easement.
Right here?
Yeah, yes, from Hog Heaven. Gene, if for whatever reason they revoke those, Hog Heaven the owner revokes those spaces, are we still within code? Or is that
Yes, so
an issue?
there's actually a section in the bylaw that talks about when shared parking agreements are revoked. It gives the applicant an opportunity to find suitable other location to share, and then if not, they'd have to reduce the seating to comply.
And how would that work? If he did do that, would they have to?
They would have to notify us that they've had a change in circumstance on their site plan, because now they wouldn't be in compliance with the approved site plan, and then we'd have to allow them opportunity to find another location to share or lease space. And I think the only good thing about where they're sharing is, and I realize the property could sell and anything could change at any time, but the topography is such that it's unusable land for Hog Heaven. So kind of you can't get there from there, so to speak, so.
We didn't actually use those 8 spaces in our count.
Yeah. Those aren't
in our
included.
narrative.
Right,
We didn't
they're
actually
extras.
include those just so that we could have approval in the off chance
Okay.
that, for whatever reason.
I have no concerns. No questions.
All right, Mike?
I'm good, thanks, John.
Okay, great. Anything else to add, Gene?
No, just, I'll work with Cedric and Heidi on the dumpster issue in the coming week and snow storage.
Great.
And I'll advise the board on what the decision was on that.
Okay, great. So we just need a motion then to waive site plan approval?
So moved.
Any other
Second.
discussion? All in favor? Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
So Heidi, do you want to talk to Matt about those dumpsters and the fence and then let me know? Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Very good. Okay, next on the agenda is a waiver of site plan request for 220 Holland Road, Hemlock Ridge Golf Course.
Yep.
What's that?
All right, so with us this evening, we have Lee Palmer, and he had actually applied to the building inspector for a golf cart pen that will be 24 by 50. It will be, oh, can you stay with the cart? And will be installed in the gravel area as shown on the aerial photography there. And when this was put into the permitting software is when I noticed that it was a commercial enterprise and technically needed planning board approval, waiver of site plan to go forward. So I reached out to Mr. Palmer and he came in that day and completed the paperwork. I did not require a survey in this case because the property is so large. It's 128 acres. And with the new ortho photos that we have available through MassGIS, they're actually really clear. So you can clearly see where that gravel area is. And then if you can go to the other plan now. And then, so it will be an open-sided golf cart pen. I always trip over that. And that's currently the area where the golf carts are parked right now. So it will just kind of keep them out of the weather. So the application had already been out to staff for review through the building permit process, and the only one that noted a concern was me. So here he is this evening, and staff has no concerns. I would recommend the waiver of site plan approval and recommend the waiver of the formal certified plot plan in this case, site plan in this case, and Mr. Palmer can answer any questions.
Very good. Dane, do you have any questions, comments? Wally?
No question.
No questions.
We're all set? Okay.
All righty.
Motion then
Whoa,
to...
whoa, wait.
Don't give me a vote. Motion then to waive site plan approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no? Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
I'll sign off on the permit in the morning
All right,
for the
thank
building
you.
inspector. You're welcome.
Okay, I guess next on the agenda is old and new business. Dane, do you have any old and new business?
I don't.
Wally?
No.
Sue? Yeah. Mike? If not, motion to, oh, you have something else? Go ahead.
Yes, just one last thing. As you are aware, Chris Bouchard had to resign from the planning board. He has agreed to stay on until we find a replacement, work schedule permitting. He did receive a promotion at work. In between that and his family life just didn't have the time to continue. So just like to thank Chris for his service, and if anyone watching or any of you know of anyone who may be interested, please have them file with the town administrator for consideration.
Very good, yeah, we certainly appreciate Chris's service. And
But file what? Just for the record.
You'll have to check to see what they're requesting. I didn't look at the posting, but generally there was a board and committee application to fill out, but at minimum, usually wants a letter of, request to serve, and then kind of a bit of a bio of what your background and why you're interested and,
Okay.
what you do kind of thing.
I'm thinking of applying, so.
Good luck.
very good. Okay, anything else, Jane?
No. And so far I have nothing for the 27th, except for the A&R that we thought we would have tonight. So
Okay.
we'll keep you posted.
Very good, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion, all in favor? Very good. Thank you.
All right.